Hey everyone, welcome back to Carrots and Olives. My name is Brittany, and in today's video we are going to be doing some pen tests. I know you guys have been asking for that, and so it's going to be happening in this video. I do want to just jump on real quick just to say that this is like the trillionth time that I filmed this. It's really hard to film long pen test type of videos where you would probably prefer to see how it writes as I'm writing it versus me talking about it. So I'm trying to get the right angle, and then I have to get the right paper. I was gonna use Apica paper, but it didn't turn out really well when it came to like my large nibbed pens. So it did bleed a little bit, and it just so I'm gonna do that. My sound should be better, and let's just get into it. So I'm gonna point you guys down. It might be a weird angle, but I think it'll work. Okay, so we are face down. Let's get started. I do have quite a few things to go through. Hopefully I have enough sunlight in the day to do this. So this is my new leather pen holder for like my fountain pens, and I talked about this in my previous video, but these are all the fountain pens I'm going to go through today with you and show you like some of the inks I have. And I think I have different inks in every single one, which is exciting and rare. But I'm going to do that, and then if I have time, which I'm pretty sure I will, we're going to go over the gel pens that I like to write with. So I am going to be using Tomoe River paper because it is the best, hands down, for fountain pens. I'm going to start off with my fountain pens, and the first one I am going to use or show you is my Pelikan. This is my Pelikan. I love it. Sorry my face is getting in the video because I want to make sure you guys can see everything. So this is my Pelikan M600. This is one of my recent purchases and my most expensive fountain pen. I love it. It's so smooth. It writes really nice. I was only able to get the broad, which actually happened to work out pretty well for me because the broad is not a size I typically get. And I realized that it's kind of nice to have a range of fountain pen sizes. It does cap, but for right now, I don't know, it's acting weird. Okay, so I am just going to be writing down the names of the pens rather than writing other things, so that if you are interested in any of these, you can Google it and be sent to where you can buy these. So again, this is the Pelikan M600. I love the thick line a broad can produce. And I am writing in the Platinum Carbon Black. I hope you guys can see this. Platinum Carbon Black is my favorite ink because it is waterproof. It makes just about any fountain pen a smoother writer than any other ink that I've used. Any of the pens that I have come across where it seemed kind of dry or scratchy, I would put in the carbon black and it would improve my writing experience probably by like 60% majority of the time. Okay, so I'm not sure. I guess we can do this so you could see. It makes your pen more of a wet writer. Let me write down broad. And it just, It just glides on paper. Next is my Laban, and I like this pen for multiple reasons. It is a little bit heavier and it writes very smooth. You can post it. Sometimes I prefer not to post it just because it writes and fits my hand perfectly the way it is this way. And I hope you guys can see as I'm writing. I usually have platinum carbon black in here, but right now I brought the bottle. I have this one, which is Coralline d'Egypte, and it is a Jacques Herbin, and I love it. It is a nice orangey, like shimmery orange. So this one is the Laban, I'm looking at my notes, 325, which is a great size, has a little bit of heft to it so you don't have to squeeze the barrel too hard. And it is the black and ivory. And I am writing in the, I think this is the media, nope, this is the fine. And this is Coralline. Cornaline, sorry. Cornaline. Already spelling things incorrectly. D'Egypte, yeah. And you can see it does have hints of like a dark orange, light orange to dark orange. And it does have shimmer in it. You probably won't be able to see it on film. I'm not gonna try to show you, but there are other videos on YouTube that can show off the shimmer and some of the other properties. But you can see there is a lot of shading as well. So this is my top pen. This is my second top pen along with this one. I would say these are like my three favorite pens, and this one is a Leonardo Officia. I hope I'm saying that right. And it has this really pretty barrel. This blue is to die for. It's just gorgeous. This is a special edition from Pen Chalet, and the nib writes superb, like perfect. I was a little bit weary at first because it was a little bit scratchy, but after I got used to it, I realized it wasn't scratchy. It was just, it's like a different writing experience because of the way that the nib has been tuned. So this is the Leonardo Officia. You write that down. And these are numbered. This one I think is 325 out of 250. And the ink I have is Sailor Shikiori, and it's in the color Yonaga. This is in a fine. And it shades from a light blue into a dark blue. And it's kind of wet. But I think that this is like the perfect daily writer. Now we're moving on to my very this is my most recent purchase, which is an Esterbrook, and it is like the blueberry, I think, Esterbrook. It is the regular size, not the oversized, and it has a nice like weight to it. But what's really beautiful is this blue, I don't know, I think it's acrylic, but it's just gorgeous. It's really smooth. I like the rounded finial. on the barrel and on the cap. So this is Esterbrook. Of course. Esterbrook, that's where there's an R in there, you guys. I will tell you, I am not a fan of this nib. This is a Yovo nib, but it has not been tuned well. But I have a new ink in this one, and this is from Laban. And this one is Lit de Thé. And it's this really pretty coffee brown, is what I want to call it. I think I prefer it in the pen when it's writing than when I'm like coloring it, scribbling it down, because you could really see the shading. Next, I am going to show you another favorite. Actually, this brand in general is my favorite, Sailor. Sailors do not disappoint. I have not yet encountered a Sailor that was not fine-tuned, and I have quite a few. Even their expensive Sailors like this one versus their inexpensive, they seem to work very well. So this is my 1911 Sailor Large, and this is in the Fresia color. I'm probably going to spell it wrong. I want to spell it like that. And this is the medium broad. The color I'm using is the J Emerald de Chivor. And you get some really beautiful shading with this color. Another favorite, this is an Edison Belmont, and this one is, oh, I can't remember. I think it's Cotton Candy, or maybe that was the Goulet Pens version of the name, but this one is really nice. It does have a smaller grip, but it is lightweight despite like the size. Overall, the size is pretty short, but it is really lightweight and the color is beautiful. So I have another new ink in this one. This is a 1.1 stub fountain pen, so it has more of a sharp angle than a rounded angle at the top, and you can get really nice thin horizontal lines and thick up and down lines or vertical lines. And this one is also an Laban ink. It is called the Caco do Brazil, and I could be saying that wrong. And again, this is the 1.1 stub. And this one is interesting. It's not turquoise, that's because I keep spreading it out with the same finger. But it's like a very light purpley brown to me. I really like the browns that are more on the cool side than the warm side. unless it's like a yellow brown. Let's go to this one. TWSBI. I know a lot of people have these because they are more affordable and really good quality as well. I like the fact that you have a large area for filling up your ink, and it is clear so that you can see it. I would say these are my favorite of the TWSBIs besides the mini TWSBIs. I like how they're lightweight, and I think these are really good travel pens as well. They come in a bunch of different colors, which is why I think a lot of people like them, because they can collect all the different colors. And I think they come out with a new color every year. So this is also a stub, but I can't remember if this is a 1.1. I think they just call it a stub. So it's more, it has those sharp lines. The ink I'm using is the dark chocolate, and this is by Robert Oster. One of my favorite browns. Okay, let's do also a nice wet writer. So now that we've kind of finished that page, I'm gonna move on to this side of the page, going backwards. Okay, so next is this pen, which I think is so unique. This is a Franklin-Christoph number 25, and the cool thing about this pen is that you have this small little cap and you have a place to hold it while you're writing. So it looks aesthetically pleasing in my opinion, and also you get kind of a hooded nib here, which I think is really fun looking. So this is the Franklin-Christoph. Most of his pens, or if not all of them, have like a number name rather than a word name for his pens. So this is a number 5 nib, which means it's just a smaller nib. The nice thing about this pen as well is that because it's hooded, it does stay more of a wetter nib. It doesn't dry out as easily, and I like that because I do have one of his pens that's a number 5 and it's super dry. For some reason I just cannot get the right combination of pen and ink. It's still dry even with my black platinum carbon ink, so I'm always hesitant to get number 5 nibs. And the ink I'm using is a Robert Oster. This is in the copper, which is more of like a purpley pinkish color to me. But when it dries, it has some really nice shading. Okay, so I'm over here, I'm looking to see what should be my next pen, and I think I'm going to show you guys this one, which is one of my first like heavier type of pens. When I was first getting into fountain pens, Conklins usually always go on sale more often than other pens. I'm not really sure why. That's what kind of drew me to this. So I do have like 3-4 different Conklin pens, even though now I'm not a huge fan of them. But I did bring this one out because I wanted a little bit more stub nibs in my writers that are ready to write than other nibs. So this is one of the rare ones that are stub. You've already seen my TWSBI and my Edison, but at the time I didn't have the Edison, and so I just had this. I don't know if this was my first stub. It could have been. Okay, so this one is, I had to do this to try to get the ink going, but this is the Conklin Der Graaf. I am using the Iroshizuku Seo row. So let's try to write this again. Hopefully I spelled that right, but I probably didn't. Syo, S-Y-O, Seo row. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's this really pretty dark turquoise, and show you here. Kind of wet, but not gushing, not like this. Another sailor, and this is in the extra fine. This sailor, it's super cute. It's a so my camera didn't want to film anymore and it cut me off. Sailor Progress Slim. This one is in the Pelikan Olivine. And again, this is the extra fine. And I forgot to put in here a stub, and then this one, the Franklin-Christoph, was a fine. But sailor fines are, and extra fines are super fine. Like, because it's so fine, it's kind of dry, but it doesn't write scratchy or anything like that. It's a really good, nice, everyday pen, in my opinion. And this one is special because it's a Pilot. It fits like in the palm of my hand, but the cool thing is that as you take it apart, you can write like this, but it may be uncomfortable to most. It's meant to be posted, so it's just a really nice, cool, kind of old-fashioned pen. They call this one a Pilot E95S, and I have it in the medium nib. It is like a classic 1960 pen. I don't have a lot of vintage pens in my collection, so I really do like this. It's very different. It writes really nice as well. So this is the burgundy and ivory color, and again, it's in the medium. Whoops. And then the ink I am using is an Laban ink. It's Rouge Grenat. Grenat. I'm not sure how to pronounce that last word, but it's an Laban. It's this really pretty dark red, and I'm running out of ink, but it's really pretty. It's not too wet, and it does write nicer than this. It looks like it was skipping, but that's just because the ink was low. So the next one is a more affordable sailor, and this is the Lecoule. The Lecoule is really nice, small fountain pen. It's smaller than the E95S, and it's a sailor, and it's not as expensive. You can get it from Amazon, but it writes really nice. and I have it in the medium fine. Now the ink I'm using, and I brought it to show you, is this cute little bottle of Laban. This is 10 mLs, really good for if you have like a dip pen where you can just dip it in, or if you're kind of testing it out, you do like it, but you do like the shade, or you do like the color, but you're unsure about like the shading and things. I still think this is a good option. It's under $6, and 10 mLs can last you a good amount of writing. So it's called Ambre de Bremagne, and it's another really gorgeous yellowy orange color. The difference between this one is that I think there's more of a darker orangey reddish tint, whereas this is more yellowy to orange. That's what I want to say. Okay, so we have another sailor. This is also a slim and a 1911. This one is clear barrel, so you can see all the insides, which is really cool. And this is a special one because it is a zoom nib. With the zoom nib, it's kind of funny. So what you do is that the nib, the tipping on this pen is very chunky. And it's pretty cool because as you write, at whatever angle you're writing on your page, the line can get thicker or thin. If my hand is closer to the page at a shorter angle, then my lines are going to be thicker, versus if I'm writing more vertical to the page, it will be thinner. The ink I'm using is ink from the Birmingham Pen Co. It is called Pennsylvania RR Boiler Steam, and it's this shady green gray. The cool thing about some of these fountain pens is that you can write on the opposite side, so upside down, and you can get a finer line. So this one, it's really pretty, and I think it looks better in a nice bigger nib than a smaller nib because you can't see the pretty shading in the color. Alright, so that is pretty much all I wanted to show you for my fountain pens. And then next we are going to go into my gel pens.